So this random person at Arjun Singh, he said this at James Gunn, please let me know, or no, please wink if you have plans for Deathstroke. I am waiting for my boy to shine for so long. And James Gunn winked. So that right there just confirms that James Gunn is working on Deathstroke to be in the DCU, most likely the Brave and Bold film. So, Jerry, how do you feel about this one?
I love it. First of all, Deathstroke is one of the coolest villains in the game. The guy is a League of Assassins legend. He is a combat veteran. And the reason here's how I knew that Deathstroke was going to be in the DCU. It was very obvious to me from the get-go. Number one, Damian has a lot of history with Deathstroke. Number two, they were using Damian, and the Bat family has a lot of history with Deathstroke, and you get to incorporate, and this brings me to number three. So number one, Damian. Number two, Bat family. But number three, I think, is the most important one, and it's the one that no one's talking about, and I've been saying it, and that is the fact that the Batman, the only flaw in that movie was that it lacked action scenes. It didn't have enough action. It didn't have high flying combat. And that was a major flaw of the movie. And I think to the people who said, oh, it's boring and whatever, short attention spans, not everyone is smart enough to have the patience for a movie like that. I get it. But some strays there, but whatever. Anyway, what I will also say is I know that they wanted to make the new DCU Batman. Obviously, it has to be special in its own right, and a big variation from the Batman is obviously going to be that this is going to have a lot of action. James Gunn is a smart guy. He knows it needs to be spectacle to compete with the MCU. How do you do that? Action. How do you have a Batman movie with Damian Wayne, who, by the way, Damian Wayne is a G in combat in his own right. You put in a villain like Deathstroke because Deathstroke forces their hand. If you have a villain like Deathstroke, you can't tell that story and make that movie without having those high-flying spectacle action scenes. So it was obvious from the jump. He was the perfect choice. He was the obvious choice. He was the only choice. And I can't wait to see this. We've never seen Deathstroke face off in Batman in a live-action movie. Obviously, we know Zack Snyder was going to do it. Hats off to Zack Snyder because it was a good choice on that. Although I'm glad that he didn't get to make that movie, but that's another story. Listen, Deathstroke's incredible. He's a great villain. If you don't know him, I would read up on him. If you're into that. But the other thing you got to think about, the Dark Knight trilogy really shined in its action, and we are. By the time this movie comes out, this is going to be north of 20 years on top of when Batman Begins came out. Dark Knight probably close to 20 years. So the action that we're going to expect to see in this movie, I expect to be groundbreaking, innovative, and pioneering, meaning they're going to do things that we haven't seen before. They're going to create new styles of action and cinematography and all of that. And this should be a movie that sets standards for other movies to come after it.
Yeah. So I think what a lot of people like about Bill is that I think Bill had the best Bruce Wayne, and I don't think we're going to see a better one, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
I'm not the biggest fan of his Batman, but that's just personally. I just like a little more grit. I like I don't know. I was like a little more savagery, and that's why Pattinson is more my guy. Personally, but
whoa, hold on here, because you're talking about a guy that left his girl to die to save Two-Face. He ends up, being the not the hero they deserve, but the hero they need. He goes, bro, he was so savage in The Dark Knight. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I just like Pattinson's Batman better. Like just like that opening scene of him beating the crap out of those people, which is awesome. But I'm not going to make this a Pattinson versus Bill debate.
Yeah.
Brave and the Bold to give me Casino Royale vibes, and when I say that, like when I watch James Bond Casino Royale, Daniel Craig comes off as like, I'm the new guy on the block. I'm here to stay. Forget what you guys say. This is me. Like, I'm doing it differently and I'm doing it my way. And that's kind of how I feel that this Brave and the Bold film, that's what it's, from the way James Gunn has tweeted about it, from things he's been saying, that's kind of what it's giving me as like, I think Batman is amazing, but I think that Brave and the Bold is going to be the best version of Batman, or this DCU Batman is going to be the best version of Batman that we're going to see, because it's going to be the most accurate version of Batman that we've ever seen. A lot of directors want to just forget the spectacle side of Batman, just like you've said, and I think that's been an atrocity on Matt Reeves, on Nolan, on all of them, and they had to
I wouldn't say Nolan. I think Nolan's Batman movies were, like, for Hollywood's sake, perfect.
It doesn't matter, because the same way I think that the Batman 2 is probably a top 3 greatest film of all time. You still got, like, the fact that there's not a lot of action is a weakness. The same way I think Nolan being too realistic with Batman is also a weakness, because you're not encompassing everything about the character. And I think that James Gunn is going to do that with Brave and the Bold, and having a character like Deathstroke is a perfect way to do it. One of my fears about Brave and the Bold was about just like how Nolan focused on Ra's al Ghul a lot in Batman Begins, which I do love. I mean, Ra's al that joint was fire.
And Liam Neeson killed it.
Yes,
that is an underrated casting.
100%. I do think that the focus needs to be on Deathstroke, Talia al Ghul, and if we don't go to the League of Shadows, I'm gonna be very pissed off. I mean, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I'm envisioning Batman, Nightwing, and Damian Wayne kind of going there and just causing wreck. I'm expecting that type of film. And so,
by the way,
yeah, man, you're good. And I think that having Deathstroke as the villain, it doesn't just open up the Batman's universe, or sorry. It doesn't just open up the Batman universe, but it opens up the whole entire DCU, because Deathstroke is connected to a lot of people, bro. He's he's connected to a lot of people.
It's a great point. Mm-hmm. He's not just a Batman villain.
Yes.
And that is also a big factor. So
exactly,
glad
bro.
Said that. So glad, because I
And that's why I think James Gunn is cooking, because he's picking villains that aren't connected to just one bad guy. And so we could see Deathstroke pop up somewhere else. He could be the one that shoots Superman in the chest with freaking kryptonite, because he's a hired assassin. Like, he could be anywhere. So I'm pretty excited to get that comic book feel of, like, I can see this character pop up in any film and be okay with it.
So, by the way, another great way to get into Deathstroke was Arrow season 1. He is the villain in Arrow season 1.
That's the guy you should watch.
Incredible. So I've been waiting to tell you this, and I was going to text you, but I probably perfect to tell you now.
What's up?
Guess who is actually going to be the new Nightwing coming out in a new comic in the Nightwing comic series? It's not Dick Grayson. Take a wild guess.
Is it a previous Robin?
No.
Who? Jonathan Kent?
Bruce Wayne.
That's weird. Why?
No, I thought you'd be excited about it. I don't know. That's what
it's kind of weird.
I haven't read. They've been trying to make Nightwing so much more important in the comics. Like, they did this event, Dark Crisis, and they were.
He was like the center of it, right?
Yeah. Well, after it, they launched it under their new banner as Dawn of DC. So, when DC has a new era, they kind of put an imprint at the top of all their books, and they were doing that with Dawn of DC after Dark Crisis, and they had announced that, like, Nightwing is the new top guy. It's not Batman, and I have to assume they're not satisfied with the results, because if they were, I can't imagine they would be making Bruce Wayne.
That's kind of weird.
But I think they're trying to make Nightwing, like, more popular, and People love Nightwing comics, though. I will say, like, the people that read them swear by them. I mean, remember Bullet? He was on there, and
Oh yeah,
Nightwing,
dude, he went. Oh yeah, he went off.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
Nightwing though, dude, bro. I think, bro, bro. You, as you
I
guys
know
know,
you
Robin.
do.
Yeah, as you guys know, Robin's my favorite superhero. So I love Nightwing. But Batman.
I thought Nightwing is your favorite, not
No,
Robin.
so Robin is my favorite superhero, but Dick Grayson is my favorite Robin.
Got it. And
Yeah.
you prefer him as Robin, not as Nightwing.
No, I prefer Dick Grayson as Nightwing and Damian as Robin.
So then Nightwing's your favorite.
No, I think that the era with Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson is just the greatest duo of all time. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I doesn't mean that he's the best Robin, because he's not, and Bruce Wayne has said that he's not the best. But I think that their duo together is just perfect. But I like the Bat family with Damian, Dick, and Bruce. Like that dynamic is just hilarious.
Yeah, I will say I am curious to how they are going to portray the DCU Batman, because with Damian, Damian's a savage. He's like a teenage savage. He's ruthless. And if you don't know Damian Wayne, like, throw out any idea you had of him, because I promise you he's going to be much more savage than you
Oh, he's a douche. He's a douchebag.
Yeah,
Legit.
yeah.
Like, he has no care in the world at all.
But Bruce still manages to take a fatherly role. When Damian's involved in the stories, they generally, a lot of the time, feel lighter, because
Thank you, baby.
Bruce Wayne is a lighter character when you have Damian's savageness to deal with. So I don't think Bruce Wayne is going to be the Batman, Robert Pattinson, like, oh, I'm angry all the time. I think he's going to be lighter. You might even see him crack a backhanded compliment at Damian as a joke, things like that.
Yeah, and I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say he's going to be a lot like Ben Affleck's Batman.
I could see that. I don't think Ben Affleck was bad as Batman.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, but when I say that, like, he's not going to be angry, but I do want Batman to be smarter than everyone, and that's I didn't think Ben Affleck played a good job at that, and so yeah, I want Bruce Wayne in the DCU that when he's around the Justice League, he's 10 steps ahead of everybody, because that's kind of how he always is in the comics. Like they look to him for the thoughts and ideas, and he's not like Tony Stark, bro. He's dead serious whenever he talks about himself, talks about stuff.
By the way, I have no doubt in my mind that the Iron Man movie, Tony Stark, was largely inspired, and they were inspired to make that movie from Bruce Wayne in the Dark Knight.
Oh my God, more Dark Knight glazing, dude. Stop.